Hi, today I'm going to be wrapping up all of the books I finished reading in June, except it's going to be should you read this or not. I read a total of 9 books. It would have been 10, but there was one book I did not finish reading. And my star rating at the moment is like 3.39 stars. I would like for this to improve, to be honest, because I feel like I need more 4 to 5 star reads. And yeah, so the first book I finished reading was Detransition Baby by Torrey. I'd say read this if you're looking for a novel that has messy characters and explores the intricacies of gender, motherhood, and family making. The second book I did not finish reading was Book Lovers by Emily Henry. I would say read this if you liked beach read and people we meet on vacation. But for me, this was the deciding factor that Emily Henry's writing is really not for me, and I think I'm done with her books moving forward. The third book I finished reading was We Had to Remove This Post by Hanna, and it's translated from Dutch to English by Emma Rault or Holt. I would say read this if you haven't watched the Vice mini documentary on how it's like working as a content moderator on like social media platforms, because it follows this woman, Kaylee, who takes up this job as a content moderator, and she's responsible for removing these really harmful posts from the internet and content that has conspiracy theories or depicts harm in a specific way or is offensive, and the job begins to change her as well as the colleagues, where their morals begin to shift for the worst. The writing quickly falls apart, but the premise is really interesting for the most part, and it's a quick read if you haven't read anything in a long time. And the fourth novel that I finished reading, it's a novella, was Assembly by Natasha Brown. I'd say read this if you're interested in class mobility for a black British woman, and it explores the intersections of race, gender, and class really well. The writing is very fragmented, but it's a solid and quick read, and basically is about this unnamed black British woman narrator who's preparing to go to her white boyfriend's garden party at his family estate in the English countryside, and she has moved upwards in the class ladder, and she's working for this like major financial corporation, but she's also thinking, is this working twice as hard as like white men, and existing as like a black British woman even worth it? Is this life that I've been fighting for really worth it? And yeah. And then the fifth book I finished reading was Private Arrangements by Sherry Thomas. I would say read this after you've watched this TikTok I'm about to put up.
Hi, I'm Saul Goodman. Did you know that you have rights? The Constitution says you do, and so do I.
And the sixth book I finished reading was Breasts and Eggs by Mieko Kawakami, and this is translated from Japanese into English by Sam Bett and David Boyd. I would say read this if you want to read a really good novel on the radical and intimate lives of contemporary working class women in Japan, specifically Tokyo and Osaka. I thought that this had really masterful storytelling and writing. I know there were issues with the translation, but I thoroughly enjoyed myself throughout. Even when it started dragging, I was like, the writing is so brilliant. And yeah, it's my favorite read from this year. And this cover, absolutely love it. Moving on is What My Mother and I Don't Talk About, 15 Writers Break the Silence, and it's edited by Michele Filgate. I would say read this if you want to read nonfiction anthology on the relationships writers have with their mothers, or relationships people have in general with their mothers. It's easily digestible, but I thought that the editing could have been stronger, and I was really disappointed with the direction most of the essays took, because the editing felt really weak for me. But if you're looking to read like nonfiction and something that will engage you, go for it. And I think this is number 7, Filthy Animals by Brandon Taylor. This is a collection of short stories and Brandon Taylor's second book. Honestly, I would say rather read Real Life if you haven't, or read Lot by Bryan Washington. Lot by Bryan Washington has a different setting, mood in general, but it will still satisfy you if you're looking for like short stories. But rather go for Real Life by Brandon Taylor because the collection here felt really stiff, and there's no doubt that Brandon Taylor is a really talented writer, but one of the stories that was a recurring short story felt really similar to Real Life and the character from Real Life, Wallace. Obviously there were like some differences, and I'm not trying to say that people don't go through the same things in life, but for me this was a disappointing second book from Brandon Taylor. Number 9 is Notes on Camp by Susan Sontag. I would say read this if you're really interested in queer culture and popular culture and you want to use the term camp correctly. Or if you're wondering why so many celebrities and influencers got the 2019 Met Gala theme wrong, you will understand after you've read this. And finally is The Crucible by Arthur Miller. I would say read this if you're looking to read a classic play and if you have ever cancelled someone or if you have ever been cancelled, this is it. I love this and it's one of my top 5 favorite plays of all time. But I also don't read a lot of plays, so my judgment is like, yeah. Anyway, if you've read any of the books I mentioned or spoke about, please do let me know in the comments, or if you'd like to know more, and I will see you when I see you. Bye.